Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Madam, on the dais, General J.J. Singh, Maroof, thank you so much. I don't have a very sophisticated take on secure cities. I just want to understand what it is that makes a city secure. I just want to say I'm a citizen. Being a Bombay guy, a Mumbaikar, watching the 26/11 happen, the feelings inside me were that of helplessness and hopelessness, and I didn't understand how to deal with a situation like that, particularly when my family is involved. A lot of you are experts, specialists who are here. Secure cities is about, as Madam Lekhi said, feeling secure. I must feel secure. And the classic example I want to give you is that when I'm in London, I feel pretty secure. Walking past the policeman after a theatre show or just walking along Hyde Park or whatever, I feel secure. I don't know why, but I feel secure. And I also get into conversations with the police guys very often, on very casual conversations. And unless they're stressed out about a particular job that they're doing or they're escorting someone, they're pretty relaxed. And they do guide and they do interact with you as you go along, number one. Number two, over this whole of today, we're going to be discussing a lot of things, but the undercurrent that we need to look at is we are facing a very unique kind of combination of threats. This morning's TV news talked about the threat of water bodies being poisoned in Rajasthan. Somebody talked about the cyber threat. We had a conference on banking and finance in Mumbai about a few months back, SWI, and we realized that every day there are thousands of people hacking accounts or trying to hack into the banking system. And so there's constantly an effort being made to counter that. And something very interesting came up, and I just want to give you this anecdote because sometimes people forget the details. He says, you know what, we have this counter hacking story where you have these information managers in a bank, and that fellow gets transferred, somebody else comes. What that somebody else doesn't know is what happened in the past and how did you fix that problem. And that becomes very important to figure out. So exchange of information across security bodies, exchange of data, exchange of experiences is not happening the way it should. At the same time, organizations like Security Watch India and others have a problem. If we actually point out something to a government agency, and God forbid something similar happens, we get into a soup. So what do? We shut up. We keep quiet. So a lot of people are aware of what can be done, what should be done, but keep quiet because they don't have a locus standi or a role to play. Unlike Israel, where I happened to visit, an old lady sitting in a bus will look around and she's the police service in Israel is the entire population of Israel. She'll spot something wrong, something suspicious, and she'll report it. They're so security conscious. They're so much on the edge. Of course, we are quite laid back with God's grace. We don't have those kind of stress points, but that's the kind of awareness that needs to come in. So you got cyber, you got water, you got germs, you got biological, you got something chemical, you got all kinds of things that are being looked at and are being talked about and are being thought about as threats. The last point I want to make is, please understand that 3,000 years ago, Egypt, the Egyptian cities did not have castles. They were open cities, and the desert was the castle. The desert was the protection. And that was a smart city and a secure city. But if you look at throughout history, whether it's on the Indian subcontinent or Europe, you find castles everywhere. What are these castles? These castles are to protect the haves. And from whom? The have-nots. There is something that the have-not wants which is in that castle, and that's why he attacks. There has to be an objective. So I think the biggest threat to security perhaps is the guy who's got a baggy trouser and a silly uniform opening the door for the gold jewelry shop in a mall in Delhi. That could be the threat of the future. So ladies and gentlemen, I think the disparity between the various sections of society is one of the biggest threats and challenges we face. Thank you.